Hey guys, good afternoon. Chris Gesualdi here again, chef at Metropolis Country Club. Today we're going to do another video. We're going to just focus on knife skills and knife safety. Okay? You always want to keep in mind your safety and everybody else's safety. So I'm going to just show you a few of the things that people do that's really not that safe. Number one, you shouldn't walk around with a knife like this. If you're gonna walk in the kitchen or your house, keep your knife like this, okay? If you're gonna hand somebody a knife, you hand them the knife like this. Don't do this because they're gonna get cut. And don't do this because that's dangerous, okay? Never put a knife in a sink full of water because you might not know it's in there and you're going to get cut. I would always assume there's a knife in the sink and approach everything with caution. Be careful when you stick your knife in the drawer that it's not up like this, okay? You want to work with a very sharp knife. I'm going to show you how to sharpen your knives. But just to get started in the kitchen, you don't need a ton of different knives. You need a small paring knife. It would be nice to have a fillet knife or a boning knife. You need a chef's knife. This is an 8-inch chef's knife. 10-inch chef's knife. You must have a beautiful bread knife, some sort of serrated knife. Pair of scissors. Want to keep your knife in good shape, you got to hone it with a steel. This is an offset bread knife. I use it for a lot of other things too, like slicing tomatoes and stuff like that. Have two other knives here. They look pretty similar. This is a utility knife, and this is a flexible fillet knife. You can see it's very flexible. This one doesn't bend like that, okay? This video is going to be a little bit longer because we're gonna go over a lot of things. So back to safety. You're going to work on a cutting board, but you don't want your cutting board sliding around on the table. So you have to put down something like a wet towel. Also, the things that you guys put in the drawers in the kitchen to cover the inside of the drawers, so they come in a roll. Those are great too, just cut it to fit here. Now your cutting board is nice and secure. I like a big cutting board because I'm a professional. You know, a lot of things that you guys use in your house, they don't live up to what we need in the kitchen. So whether we're working at the club or the restaurant or home, we work the same way. You're gonna want to keep your knives sharp. And how do you know your knife is not sharp? It's not gonna cut. This is gonna be your best friend. This is gonna hone your blade, which means it's gonna like realign the teeth on the knife. It's not gonna create an edge. Okay, so if you take care of your knife, you'll only have to use the steel. If this is not working because the knife is just beat up and dull, you're gonna have to put it on a stone or bring it to someone and have them grind it a little bit, okay? A sharp knife is not half as dangerous as a dull knife. A sharp knife is gonna cut. A dull knife, you're gonna have to fight with it. And don't be scared of the size of the knife. The bigger the knife, the easier it is to cut. It's less work for you guys. And regardless of how big the knife is or how small the knife is, if you're going to get cut, you're going to get cut. Everybody's going to get cut once in a while. Even I get cut. So these are Wüsthof knives, German knives. Okay, I love German knives. You want to try to hold your knife like this. Okay, like this you don't really have too much control. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to use the technique. It's called the claw. You want to keep your thumb behind your fingers, and you're going to keep your fingers flat, and the knife is right up against your fingers. You will never get cut like this if your fingers are straight. Your thumb is tucked in the back behind your fingers, and the knife is not coming up this high. The knife never has to go higher than the product. If the product is this big, you're just looking for trouble. You'll have to cut it down. Okay? Steel. You should be using this every couple of minutes. So if you're right-handed like me, you hold the steel in your left hand. This guard here is to protect your fingers. All those little scrapes and cuts there, that's where you want them to be. You don't want them to be in your finger. So don't do it like this. And it's very simple. You're going to keep the steel at a 45-degree angle. You line it up with your right eye. You're going to take the heel of the knife. You're going to put it on the tip of the steel. And you want to keep it at a 20-degree angle, which is almost flat. And you just go on the other side. Start here, down, go on the other side, down. Just flick your wrist. I just picked it up. You don't want your finger out here. Gonna get cut. If your knife is sharp, you can touch it very carefully like that. Or you could try the paper test. And if my knife is dull, it will be very embarrassing right now. So I'm taking a chance. Nice and sharp. I use it a little bit. I just go a few more times. Okay? You only need one knife on your cutting board at a time, because no matter how talented you are, you're not going to use two knives at the same time. Okay? Now, I was a culinary instructor for 11 years, and I can tell you the most dangerous thing I ever asked my students to do when using a knife, and if they didn't listen, which they didn't lots of times, they got cut. Coring a tomato. If you core the tomato like this, you're going to go through the tomato and into your hand. Not a pleasant sight. I'm not a nurse, so when they bled all by themselves. You're going to take your thumb, put it like a ½ an inch from the tip. That's enough knife to go into the tomato to get the core, to get the core out. Stick it in. Your thumb is here, knife is in. It's impossible to get cut. You're going to turn the tomato and your knife. If you got to go back twice, you go back twice. But you want to keep your thumb in there, okay? This is garbage. This will go in our little garbage pail. Okay? Very important. You want to work on a flat surface. You don't want your tomato rocking around like this. So the tomato is now flat. We're going to cut the tomato in half. So we grab the tomato like this, put the knife here, grab the tomato here, and just cut down. Okay? We're going to cut the tomato in half now. Put the knife on the tomato, and look, just saw. I'm not using a lot of force. You have much more control than if you're holding it like this. You're not going to get cut. You're the only one using the knife. Be careful and you'll develop some confidence. Okay? Beautiful. We're gonna keep our cutting board nice and clean. Because the health inspector's here today. It's my wife. Trust me, you don't want to hear her. We actually sent her away. She asked if she could borrow my car. I said, yes, go. That way we could do this video in peace. Okay? Now we're going to take out all of the guts from the tomato. So we want to follow the tomato right along the flesh here. So you're going to start right here. This is where you're going to want to work on a cutting board, not over here. I'm right-handed, so I keep my product on the left. I prepare it in the center, and then I put it in the right-hand corner. You start right here, okay? Push the tomato down so it's flat. And the knife is long, so you can saw, okay? This we can save for something else. Don't just do one tomato and then cut it. Do the same thing to all of the tomato, and then you do the next step to all the tomato. Nice and easy, look. You just want to get rid of all this stuff in here. So just start it like this. Put the tomato flat and saw. The knife is big. It's like the guys in the woods that cut trees. They don't have a little saw like this. They got a saw that's like 6 feet long. Let the knife do the work for you. Start here. One more time. Start. Just keep the knife flat. Watch your fingers. Okay, now we're going to dice this tomato. Just take your steel now. Couple times. We're going to just cut the tomato. I got the point on the table. It's up against my fingers all the time. Pull the knife back. You can't do this with a dull knife. You'll know when the knife's not cutting right. Okay? This is one of my not so good knives, but you don't want to be doing this. This is bad for your knife. This is bad for your knife, okay? You'll never have a sharp knife. Okay? Use the back of the knife. Okay? Fingers down. They're straight. Thumb, hide it. I'm not using a lot of knife. I'm using that much knife. This is the way I'm comfortable. But it's been working for me for 40 years. Why stop now? Okay, just continue. If you wanted to just chop the tomato as it was with all the seeds in it, that's up to you. I'm showing you how we do it at the club or in restaurants for like making pico de gallo. And another good thing about knives is if you want them to stay sharp, you shouldn't let everybody use your knife because nobody takes care of your knives the way you do. I have crappy knives here for when people come to my house and cook. Because I can't work with a dull knife. Okay? You're going to clean your knife. More safety. Look, not like this. You're going to cut yourself. Like this. Or you can leave it on the table. Okay? If you guys are not comfortable with this, look, you can do this. Same. You want to do from one end of the knife to the other, 20-degree angle. Just pull it back. Okay? This is not safe. Okay? Always think about your safety and everybody else's safety, okay? We're done with tomatoes. So we're gonna just get rid of them. Keep your knife clean. Keep your cutting board clean. And I could wear gloves, but when you're doing knife skills, it's very difficult to wear gloves, but I developed a little trick. I need this finger as my guide, so I cut this off of my glove. Now I can work and not get plastic in people's food, or cut my fingers because the plastic's in my way. So that was the tomato. Again, I'm going to show you how to core it again. You're not going to get cut, just be careful. Keep your finger about a ½ inch down from the tip. Can't go any deeper than that because your thumb is there. Turn tomato, turn the knife. Okay? First thing I do when I get to the club every day in the morning is I do this to every one of my knives. Okay? Let's do pepper. Take off your little sticker. Now, when I always used to ask people, if I wanted to prepare this pepper to dice it like we did the tomato, how would you do it? Most people say they would cut it in quarters like this, or cut it in half. So if I got 40 potatoes or 40 peppers to cut, and I cut every single one of them into 4 pieces, that comes out to what? 160 pieces. So what I do, cut the ends off. Same deal. Flat on the board, finger here. It's a big product, so you can spread your fingers. This is my guide, this index finger here. Cut the end off. Cut the end off. You don't have to throw this stuff away. You can make sauces out of this. You can make gazpacho out of this. Flat surface. Just cut straight down. Not like this. Like this. Okay? Open it up. You're gonna get rid of these veins now. Ribs, whatever you like to call them. Just like we did the tomato. Push down. You don't need a lot of strength. And just cut. Okay? Watch where your fingers are. You don't need a lot of force. Okay? If I have a lot of seeds, like this, I just bang them. Look at how I position my knife. Okay? Clean board. That's the first thing people are going to notice when they're in your kitchen, whether it's home or at your job, is how clean are you working? Especially now with this coronavirus going on. I've always been clean. Now this is a little big. Now I can cut it in thirds. Okay? We're gonna dice this now. Sometime your knife is gonna cut through the skin. Sometime you might want to turn it this way. But if your knife is sharp, you should be able to cut it this way. And it's flat. But now you gotta ask yourself, if the recipe is incomplete, how big do I cut my vegetables? Then I'm gonna ask you, what are you gonna do with them? I'm gonna make a soup. I wanna put peppers in my soup and corn in my soup. So everything should be cut the same size as the corn. The rule is it should fit on your soup spoon. If you're going to eat this raw, you want to cut everything very small. You can eat anything raw. You can eat a raw beet if you cut it paper thin. But try biting a whole raw beet. It's not going to taste so good. Don't pile your vegetables up. Stay right here. Because you don't want to be fiddling around, moving your fingers everywhere to hold the product. That's how you get cut. And nice and slow. Okay? Dice. So I can feel my knife dragging a little bit. It's not working as nice as it did a few minutes ago. So, but that's nice. Everything should be cut the same size if it's going in the same dish. I mean, you don't want to do like a quinoa salad and have peppers cut that big. Okay? Couple more. Keep your area clean. This is called a dice. Four-sided. Whatever size you want, small, medium, large. It's a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. It's a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. Or it's an inch by inch by inch. Dice, just like when you play Monopoly, the game, the dice, 4 sides. Okay, everything looks beautiful. That's a nice size if you're cooking. If I want to do like a nice ceviche, I want everything nice and small, and that's just my opinion. Look, I got this nice, beautiful pepper, about a 1/4 inch thick. I bring it here, nice and flat. I watch my fingers. Okay. Now look. So the dice, the first cut that I'm making, every other cut should be the same size. So when I start cutting the length, it's going to be this thick and you'll have a nice dice. Okay. See that? This is it. I don't have a cooking show. I don't have any books out. I don't own a restaurant. Got enough problems. Okay? That's gonna look good. You know, when you put a whole bunch of these different colors together, they're gonna call it confetti. Okay? Look at how beautiful that is. That's all they do in fancy restaurants. They finesse everything. It's the same stuff. Gonna clean my cutting board. Go back to my steel. Okay, now we're gonna do onions. I'm gonna show you how to slice an onion, how to julienne an onion, how to mince an onion, and how to dice an onion, okay? First thing I do, cut the ends off. Again, this is rolling around. Now you gotta be careful. Sharp knife. The saw. People always ask me, why do I cry when I cut onions? I give them a few answers. A lot of people find me. They used to say I was dry. I didn't know what that meant, but it's a nice way of saying sarcastic. If you cry, maybe you're just a baby. Okay? Or your knife is dull. It's very humid outside. Or you got one of those milky, wet onions. You're gonna cry. If you got if you're mincing onions and you cut them real big, and you're doing this all day, you're gonna cry. You're pushing all the juices out. Okay? I mean, I've seen people say, put a piece of bread in your mouth, wear goggles. I just say, get over yourself, get the crying done, and then move on because we have work to do. Okay? I'm gonna cut the onion in half now. Nice flat surface, knife here, knife there, fingers here, push down, okay? Gonna slice the onion now, okay? You wanna make sure all the root is cut off so your slices don't stick together. And all these little extra pieces, we just use them for soup, okay? Slice, same thing, fingers, okay? Slice, move your finger a little bit, depending on how thick you want. Just moving back and forth, this finger. And you get the two to work together. If they don't work together, you're in trouble. Now it's getting a little narrow. Okay, it's getting dangerous now. Push it down, flat surface again. When you're cutting like the onions, you want to use this part of your knife. You don't want to be pushing like that. You're working way too hard. Right here. You're just pushing. When you get to the end, you go very careful. You don't want to cut yourself. Okay? You'll cut yourself like that. Just nice and easy. And if you're not comfortable like this, don't push it. Okay? Onion off the board. And if you don't want everything to smell like onions, cut the onion last. I mean, I've seen people cut onions first and then start cutting oranges. No good. Okay? Let me switch to my big knife now. You can hear that. The knife is sharp. Okay? Holding my knife like this. You have no control like this. If you're cutting like this, nothing is going to be the same size and you're going to cut your finger. As I move this finger this way, that determines how thick my slices are going to be. Okay, you see? You guys should take your time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Make it flat. Just nice and easy. Watch that thumb. Okay, the knife is right up against that finger every time. You don't see my knife up here. It's barely above the onion. See, on video, you can actually convince people you know what you're doing. But sooner or later, they meet you and they're like, oh well. Okay? Hope all of you are feeling good. Everybody's healthy and ready to come back to the club and get back to our normal lives. Okay, now we're gonna do another onion, okay? Again, fingers here, secure, cut the end off. Turn it around, cut the end off. Somebody else might show you a better way or another way. If you're more comfortable like that and it's efficient, do it. I don't know everything. I know what I know. But always be open-minded and don't be afraid to learn. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've met all along my journey that thought they knew everything, but they were just hard-headed and could have been much better if they just opened their mind a little bit. Keep that knife sharp. Okay, so this is a sliced onion. Okay? Somebody might say to you, I want a julienne of an onion. So when you do a julienne of an onion, you're going to take one layer of the onion. Okay? You're going to square it up a little bit. And this looks like waste, but when you work in a kitchen, everything gets utilized. Okay? Do you see the difference in these? Okay? Tell me you see the difference. Do you see a difference, Samantha?
Yeah.
Okay? Don't just say that because you're my daughter and my photographer. Okay? Now, I can dice it. There is a difference. Okay? There is a difference. You don't have to worry about that little difference. You can do them any way you want. I'm just trying to give you options why I got your attention. Okay, now we're gonna mince an onion. There's a lot of ways to mince an onion. But again, got our onion, end is off right here. We're gonna do exactly what we did when we sliced the onion, but we're gonna stop. We're not gonna go through the onion. So what I used to teach my students was draw a line about 1/4 inch from the root end. Knife's never gonna pass that line, otherwise you're gonna end up with sliced. Okay, so we put our fingers, like we've been doing, we put the knife on the line, go all the way down to the table, out. On the line, table, out. Okay? See, I moved that index finger, I put the knife right up against it, on the line, down and out. That's the vertical cut. Now we're going to do the horizontal cut. Some people do it the opposite way I just did it. Some do the horizontal and then the vertical. I'm much more comfortable this way. Squeeze this onion, keep the layers together. Put the knife here, about 1/4 inch from the bottom, and just push it in and pull it out and stop at the line. Do it again, another 1/4 inch above. Push it in and pull it out. Watch your fingers, Samantha. Push it in, pull it out. Okay? Just trying to keep the onion together. Last one I just saw a little bit. And if you figure out a better way or easier way, do it. Mince. So I'm going to use these to make risotto, okay, or rice. The rule is, and they're not my rules, the onion should be smaller than the rice. No bigger. Okay, and if you don't want to go all the way to the ends, you don't have to. We can just take this and slice it. And you'll pick up some speed, and then you're going to get cut, and you're going to go backwards, and then you're going to get back up on the bicycle and start cutting again. Okay? Keep that table nice and clean. Clean your knife. Remember, not like this, like this. So back to the steel. Now, if you're not happy with your onions, you could put them back on the board. And we can cut them a little bit more. What you're gonna do, you're better off doing a little onion instead of a lot at the same time. Put your hand here, just rock. This will make you cry, so you gotta be careful, especially, you just wanna go over these a little bit. Can you put them in a food processor? Yes, but what good would my video be doing if you were using a food processor? Okay? And those are beautiful minced onions. And that's exactly the same way you do garlic or shallots, okay? Exactly the same way. Get me a piece of garlic, Samantha. I'll show them how to do a garlic.
How many?
One. So if you have a garlic press at home and you like it, keep using it. I'll show you how to mince garlic. Again, onion, garlic, shallots, done exactly the same way. I'm going to start off with my paring knife. Root end is away from me. I'm going to hold it just like the onion. Put the knife in the center of the clove. Hold it steady and cut down. Okay? Just like the onion. Root away from you. Your little line. Nice thin little cuts. Just like the onion. Underneath, probably go 2 times. Just like the onion now. Finger. I like my garlic very finely minced if I'm serving it. I make sure I don't put the root in there. I go over it a little bit like this. If I'm gonna marinate with garlic, I could slice the garlic, or I could just put the whole cloves in there. But if I'm eating it, I want it small. That's just me. Now I want it even smaller. Just gonna take my knife like this and do this to it. See? You don't need salt or anything. My students used to say to me, aren't you like squeezing out all the juice and flavor? I would say, eat it. And again, they thought I was very sarcastic. But what can you do? I'll show you how to do carrots now. And introduce you to another very important piece of equipment that you should have in your kitchen. Peeler. Again, cut the ends off. We're gonna peel. You could peel like this if you want. No big deal. I do it like this. All the way down. I rotate it in my fingers. All the way down. Rotate. Rotate, rotate. And this thing will cut you just like anything else, so be very careful. You're going to see, everybody thinks, that's why I laugh when they say, they watch these people on TV. Oh, they're so gifted, they're so talented. They're not. You only need to know like 9 things to be a cook. First one being, never argue with the general manager. Okay? And 4th of July only comes once a year. That's it. Don't try to stretch it out. Okay? We're going to cut these carrots on the bias. That's cut on an angle. Okay? And again, it's got to be easy to eat. So, finger, angle. Move your fingers again. Make nice glazed carrots. Get to the end, be careful. Just like I did the last time. Grab it with both sides of your fingers and just push down. Okay? Bias cut carrots. I'm going to peel 2 more for you. From one end of the carrot to the other, rotating it in your fingers. Or you can do this, whatever you like. Some people would cut with that stuff on the cutting board. Unacceptable. Let's do the roll cut or the oblique cut. Okay? First cut is just like the bias, on an angle. Now, you see where the carrot is? Give it a 1/4 turn. Another cut. Give it another 1/4 turn. Just continue. 1/4 turns. And this is really good with small carrots. It just looks different. Okay? You can also cut your carrots into rounds. I like them like this for like soup. Okay? All the same thickness. Okay? Pretty much the same thickness. If you're cutting them like this, it's just natural for me to want to put my finger there. They're not going to be the same. Okay? They're not going to cook the same. Okay? To dice anything, you need a square. Okay? Potato. Anything you want to dice. Not flat. So hold it very carefully like this. Flat side down. Cut each end off. 1, 2, and 3. This all becomes soup and stocks. So whatever size you want your dice to be, whether it's 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, or 1 inch, the first cut, say it's a 1/4 inch. Look, 1/4 inch. Matthew, ready? 1/4 inch. This thickness here is your next cut too, that width. 1/4 inch. Okay? 1/4 inch. And that's how you dice. This was homework for students when they came to class late. Take home 2 potatoes and dice, and I wanted 20 1/2-inch dice out of each potato. Okay? So look, you have bias cut on the angle, the roll cut, which is oblique, rounds, or you can call them rondelles, and dice. Okay? Celery. You're gonna wash your celery. I always cut the ends off, it's just me. Cut your celery. I mean, you can do your little half moons. Okay? Everybody at the club likes tuna salad and chicken salad. If you found this in your tuna salad or your chicken salad, trust me, you would not be happy. Would not be a smooth eat. So I like to cut everything in manageable pieces. Okay? I cut a little of this off to make it flatter. Okay? Again, same. And you want clean cuts. You don't want to do this for your celery salad. It's just not going to look nice. Nice for your tuna salad or chicken salad, I'm sorry. Okay? Nice and easy. Okay? Beautiful for your salad. Potato. Cut your ends off. I like to wash the potato after I peel it because it gets dirty anyway. Peel. I mean, some people do this too. This is okay. If you want to peel into paper towels, you could just clean up quickly. I got my green daughter standing right next to me taking pictures. She doesn't waste paper. Okay? You peel one more. Any black spots, just peel them. Peel them till they're not there. You got this little thing here too to like dig in and get little black Parts out. Keep your board clean. .45-degree angle. Keep your fingers behind the guard. Knife, tip of the steel, 20-degree angle. You can cut nice scallop potatoes. Just put the knife like this. You're using this part of the knife. And just push down. Okay? You can also cut them in half. Remember, we've done this a few times already. Hold it steady, push down. You could do smaller ones. You can make a gratin of potatoes. Okay. If you want to make mashed potatoes, I just cut them like this. Ready to go. Dice a potato. Again, we want a flat surface. This is dangerous. Cut the end off. Flat surface. Cut all 3 sides off. 1, 2, 3. The French, this is how they do it, but there's so much waste. Okay? Again, first cut, 1/2 inch. Second cut, 1/2 inch. Third cut, 1/2 inch. Okay? One more time. Nice and flat. Push. That's the thickness you're going for. If you have a little extra, you get rid of it. Make soup. Okay? Dicing. We're almost out of dishes, Samantha. Keep that cutting board clean. I'm going to show you how to chop parsley. I already washed this parsley, and the way I wash parsley, you can't just run parsley under the water. That's just rinsing. We want to wash it. So to wash parsley, I get a big bowl, I fill it up with water, and I dip the parsley in just like this. I dump the water, rinse the bowl so there's no dirt or sand in the bottom, and I repeat 4 times. And then I touch the bottom of the bowl, make sure there's no grit there. I just eat a little piece of parsley and make sure it's not gritty. If it's gritty, you need to wash it a little more. Pick your parsley, not too much stem. And then just like we did with the onion before, we're gonna just go back and forth. Clean your knife. You can use your finger like this if you like, or if you're not comfortable, use another small knife. If the parsley's a little wet, if you're gonna be putting it in like your meatballs, that's fine. If you're gonna sprinkle it on a plate, it's gotta be dry. So if it's wet and you're going to be using it to sprinkle on a plate, we need to dry it. So we would put it in a towel and squeeze the towel till it was dry. You'll see the water come out. That's beautiful parsley there. Take a clean kitchen towel or a clean piece of cheesecloth. I'm going to show you with the paper towel because that's what I have right now. Just take your wet parsley. Bring the corners together. And you just squeeze. You can see the water. Okay. And then, bring the camera up a little bit, Samantha. You can see how the parsley just falls and it's not in clumps. Okay? And the last thing we're going to do today is basil. And I washed the basil exactly like the parsley. It's already been washed. We're going to take a few leaves. And we're going to julienne some basil. In French, it's called chiffonade. But basil turns black, so you want to be very careful. You put all your leaves together like this. You go back to your college days. And you roll it, okay? Not too tight. I didn't go to college, but I heard about it, okay? And then fingers again, and this is a delicate cut. Just your finger, it's more like when we diced a tomato. Now just pull that knife back. This way your basil doesn't turn black. I like to pull the knife towards me. Some people go the opposite way. But you got a nice julienne of basil. Okay? So one more. If you like your little knife, you can use the little knife. Up against that finger, okay? And that's our video for today, guys. Basic knife skills. Thank you and have a beautiful spring, summer. See you soon.